The world called Kairos was death, pure and simple. It circled a red dwarf star so close that its nights glowed dark crimson and its days burned with choking heat. For centuries, the galaxy's ruling alliance, the Vael Dominion, had used it as a trial ground, a prison where the condemned either died alone or proved themselves worthy of servitude. No non-native had survived more than a month, so, when the Vael Council sentenced a single human, Captain Imani Graves, to Kairos, the audience laughed. The Dominion's records showed the last human who tried lasted exactly 19 hours. Their bones were still out there, somewhere under red dust. Imani stood before the council chamber, refusing to lower her gaze. She was battered, still bleeding from the Battle of Riros, and her uniform was torn, but her eyes, those wild, unbroken eyes, looked past her judges. But Imani, a veteran of the Terran Exodus, had lived through worse. Half-buried, rusted, but usable. She felt a surge of hope. She scavenged metal scraps, stripped wiring from ancient Dominion wrecks, and fashioned makeshift shoes from old ship insulation. Every night she carved notes into stone, marking her progress, mapping water sources. "You will last a day, human," hissed the Vael Archon, his voice oily. "Your species, so bold, so foolish, never learns." Her food supply dried fungus gathered bugs. Roots she'd boiled 3 times to kill the poison kept her alive. Imani didn't answer. She just smiled. The wind howled. They called for guards. She walked herself out. The Dominion dropped her on Kairos alone, armed only with a canteen and a pack. No weapons, no shelter. His name was Eno, a half-blood exile from the Duran worlds. Imani fed him, tended his wounds, and listened to his story. He'd survived by hiding, never fighting, always running. Alone for months. But as the transport left, she saw a shimmer on the horizon. Smoke, maybe, or a signal. Someone else was here. She walked. Every step on Kairos was a trial. The air was thin, gravity punishing, and the ground littered with razor-edged stones. On her 3rd day, she found a cave. Inside were the bones of other exiles, alien, human, and stranger still, but also tools. No one had ever rallied the exiles. No one had built a community on Kairos. Over the next weeks, Imani found others alien exiles, criminals, the forgotten and abandoned. Some feared her. Others tried to steal from her. She fought off a group of desperate Therics with a burning branch and won their loyalty. She traded survival knowledge for information, tools for trust. At night, Imani built a fire. He sang softly to herself a Terran lullaby, her mother's song, something ancient and defiant that echoed through the darkness. She sang anyway. Imani's most trusted friend was Eno, the boy who'd once begged for death and now organized daily patrols. They learned to fight as a unit. They learned to hope. But this time, it wasn't prisoners. It was a kill squad. Dominion enforcers sent to cull the population. She would not die here. By the end of the first week, Imani had built a shelter, woven from scavenged metal and polymer mesh, set against the cave wall. But Kairos was not empty. Under Imani's leadership, they'd built wind traps for water, simple hydroponic beds, and makeshift signal devices that blinked at passing Dominion patrols. If they want to erase us, let's show them what humans do best. We fight for each other. On the 9th night, she heard a voice, weak, broken, not quite human. A boy's voice. The battle raged through the day, half the camp destroyed, but the exiles would not run. Help. Together, they brought down a Dominion gunship with nothing but a sabotaged fuel cell and a thrown spear. She crept outside, makeshift spear in hand, and found a teenager barely 16, skin pale and covered in burns, wearing rags from a dozen species. Word traveled through the prison networks. Humans, aliens, hybrids. Imani's legend grew. "Why help me?" he asked. Imani's answer was simple. "We survive together. That's what humans do." Word spread in the darkness. Slowly, the outcasts gathered. She built a camp. She taught them how to build fire, purify water, fortify their shelters against the blood rain storms. She gave them hope. The Vael watched, amused at first, then bewildered. She organized raids on Dominion supply drops. hacked drone signals to intercept enemy plans, even broadcast pirate radio messages to other prisoners. They started sending drones to observe. Imani looked up at the sky each night, knowing the Dominion was watching. She raised a fist at the sky anyway. Months passed. They had dug shelters reinforced by stolen Dominion tech, and survived what was supposed to be extinction. Karos's outcast camp was no longer just surviving, they were thriving. They called it the Hearth. With every exile working together, they boarded the ship, hijacked it, and escaped Karos. Exiles were a patchwork: former criminals, wrongly accused, rebels, even a few Dominion defectors. But nothing on Karos lasted. One night, the ground shook a Dominion dropship, dropping fresh trials. The council had seen enough. No human should become a legend here. Imani rallied her people. "We are more than survivors," she told them as they prepared defenses. "We are a family now." The enforcers attacked at dawn using energy weapons and drones. Imani and her allies fought with traps, with cunning, with fire and fury. Ino saved Imani's life, dragging her from an explosion. When the smoke cleared, the enforcers were dead or fled. For the first time, a human-led camp had survived a purge. After the attack, Karos changed. More exiles joined the Hearth. People started calling her the Unbroken. Imani taught the exiles not just to survive, but to resist. She turned Karos from a graveyard into a crucible. The Dominion tried everything: starvation, poison, sabotage. Imani countered with creativity, with relentless hope. Every time someone fell, she marked a stone, carved their name in the wall, and the community mourned but grew stronger. The day came when the Dominion sent an envoy an offer of amnesty. If Imani surrendered, she called the bluff. "Tell your masters," she said, standing before the envoy's camera, "that Karos belongs to the free now. We will never kneel again." The galaxy watched, amazed. For the first time in history, prisoners on the trial planet had become an army. Imani's resistance spread beyond Karos. The Dominion tried a final solution: orbital bombardment. But the Hearth was ready. When the dust settled, the outcasts rose again, angrier, prouder, united. Imani led them in their last gamble, hacking a passing transport, using jury-rigged Dominion codes. As they left the blood-red world behind, Imani looked back, eyes burning. The Dominion had tried to break a human. Instead, she had built an army. And now, the galaxy's most feared exiles had a leader and a cause. They said no human could survive the trial planet. They were right. She didn't just survive. She changed everything.